Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Line of Scrimmage. I'm one of the hosts, Cody Mainstream, my partner. Beautiful as always, Montana Boar. It's been a minute.
Yep.
It's been a minute. And you know what? We're both frauds, okay? I'm willing to accept that, all right? Perjury, 2 counts of tax evasion. It's okay. It happens, guys. It seems like every week we get a new college football playoff format.
Yep.
Like, I can't even keep up. I thought we had something new at the end of the year, and all of a sudden it's gone through like 3 different models, and they're all being signed in, and I can't keep up. But, Coach, you've got some stuff that you want to talk about. I'm going to let you handle this because you've been reading all up on this.
Yep. First of all, I want to mention a quick shout-out to the Decorah boys basketball team. Made it to state this year, got to the quarterfinals. I know a couple of you guys watched the episode, so shout out to you guys. Great season.
Dogs.
I know you had fun watching them too. But I think the focus of this episode is spring ball because we're finally here. It's been a month since we've last uploaded. We've kind of skipped to the offseason a little bit. Last Saturday, we had Clemson, Auburn, and NC State with spring games already in April. We also had some info about Boston College and TCU, some teams that may or may not be dark horses this year for us. Hope you guys stick around, like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into it.
I guess the biggest thing that happened while we were gone that is probably getting everyone riled up is the new college football playoff format.
Yeah.
What changed? So it's 14. They're looking to do 14 teams instead of 12 now. What I see as very, very glaring and something that really strikes out and makes me very, very worried is the 6-year, $7.8 billion media rights deal to ESPN. There's so much I can say, but I mean to shorten it out, it feels like we're getting a monopoly created here, and it's just everything that I've been seeing said online. It just does not look good. $1.3 billion a year.
Yeah.
That's better than Premier League money, better than Champions League money. That's World Cup-esque money. Like, that is insane. All this stuff, knowing that it is truly just done for money and not for the love of the game or anything else. I mean, sure, like, and we're not talking about, like, here's a couple extra, here's a little extra money. No, this is insane, like, Monopoly-esque money. They have a stranglehold on this here, and that's what I don't like. Just keep it at 12. That's as far as I want to go.
Yeah.
I'm cool with how they have the format.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's kind of it for our playoff. I don't know. I mean, we're excited to watch it regardless. But if they keep expanding, it's just going to demean every single game played on Saturday. So I'm not excited for the expansion part of it, but I am excited for the 12-team format.
We haven't even had our first iteration of it, and that is what is insane to me is we're making all these decisions so rashly. Let's get into this a little more fun.
Yep.
Let's talk about actual football.
Yeah.
Spring game, Auburn. Coach, you done a whole lot of ball watching, they'd say. I've only watched a couple of games so far, but you showed me some with Clemson.
Yeah.
I watched some other stuff going on, but let's take away. You got Auburn. Let's hear all about it, man.
Listen, man. Auburn, you are the definition of mid. No offense to any Auburn fans out there, but what I saw on YouTube, the spring game highlights, was nothing to scoff at. The defense is great. It usually always is. The offense, Peyton Thorne is your number one. Even he's a little inconsistent. The whole quarterback room in general is just inconsistent. The highlight of the day, Cam Coleman, 65-yard catch. We'll have that up for you on the screen. That brother's a freshman. He's going to make some noise someday. Whether he stays at Auburn his whole career, which is funny, we even talk about that, like a freshman not staying at a college their entire career. It's just weird that we talk about it that way. Jarquez Hunter started the day at running back. You have a bunch of running backs, honestly, that I like. Obviously, you're in the spring. Obviously, it means nothing. You still have the summer to go through and then fall camp. So, like I said, with the defense, defense had a day on last Saturday. Held the offense to 5 field goals. Had a goal line stop and 1 touchdown. That was a long pass. The offense actually ended up winning by a field goal. 58-yarder from a freshman in a spring game. They host Oklahoma this year. They go at Georgia, at Mizzou. They host A&M, and they go to at Alabama. That is a tough schedule. But really, if Hugh Freeze is about that life, this is where you start making noise. 6 to 7 wins is what I see it as. They did get the number 9 recruiting class this year, so obviously you got some talent coming in. Just got to wait and see, obviously. So that is Auburn spring ball. That was last Saturday. There's going to be plenty more teams this Saturday. We can't wait to catch you guys up on them.
Now, this was like your Super Bowl of hate. from Clemson also played last Saturday, and this man just spammed me on Twitter while I was at work. And it's like, brother, we've got to watch this. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's a Clemson spring game. Why would I care? Tell me all about it.
Okay.
I mean, we've got breakout QB.
Yeah.
We've got this dude was just cooking everyone, except for one guy. So
Listen, I'm just saying, Clemson fans, you might have a new quarterback this year, and it might not be who you expect. Trent Pierman, not going to have a big arm, not going to do all this crazy stuff, but he's a gamer. He's going to complete passes, going to do what it takes to win, and that reminds me a lot of Max Duggan. Kate Klubnik, listen, man, you were a step behind, I should say, every single throw I saw in that spring game. And you should be headed north, headed in the right direction. This is your second year starting, so you should have taken a step forward. It honestly looks like you took a step back. Your stats weren't too bad, 13 to 26 in an interception. No touchdowns. I thought Trent Pierman looked like the best quarterback out there. 13 of 18, 141 and a touchdown. Plus, he had a 49-yard rushing touchdown by himself. Obviously, the spring game, you're not going to tackle that hard. So, he could have gotten tackled, I guess you could say. But still impressive nonetheless. Garrett Riley's offense, that was impressive. You can see a lot of wrinkles watching that. Still needs work. Obviously, we're still in the spring. We're only in April. That defense, that Clemson defense.
it's always going to be good.
Nothing to scoff at.
It's always going to be good.
14 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, and a pick 6.
All in that game.
I didn't see a whole lot of the running game, at least from the highlights. Obviously, there's not a lot of running highlights as there is. Some breaking news, though. Cade left the spring game with the lower leg injury. So, hopefully he's good, ready to go. Obviously, he's got the whole summer to chill out on that leg. 5-star Bryant Wesco looks phenomenal. He caught a 9-yard fade touchdown. I mean, back shoulder throw, right on the money. Trent Pierman, by the way. And then we got Sammy Brown, the freshman 5-star. I mean, they got 5-stars everywhere.
This is a guy you couldn't wait to tell me about.
He had a sack on his first play. That's like anticipation, stuff you can't teach. Number 47, I'm excited to watch him more this year. Other than that, man, not a lot to say about Clemson. Offense still needs some work. Defense is legit. I think 9 to 10 wins should be the floor for Clemson this year. I don't know what's going to happen to Kate Klubnik. I hope he takes a step in the right direction, but as far as last Saturday goes, Trent Pierman was the guy and impressed me the most on Saturday.
All right, sticking with the ACC, next game I watched a little bit of, and I can't lie, I liked a lot of what I saw, and this is from NC State. Picked up a great transfer quarterback addition in Grayson McCall, if you guys remember back a couple years ago, the quarterback from Coastal Carolina. They picked up Jordan Waters from Duke, the running back. And this team just looks very, very poised, especially on offense. Ready to go, consistent. I mean, Grayson McCall is a great, great passer. And then they just have weapons around him ready to go. Defense looked good. Now, the thing that I kind of take with a pinch of salt before I kind of going into the spring game itself is it was the first team offense and defense versus the third string. So, I'm going to kind of minimize it a little bit because, it's already a spring game.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're playing against the third stringers. So, Grayson McCall, he was 16 for 20. Really, the only balls that he missed were some deep throws. And other than that, when I first watched, I was writing down my notes. I was like, oh, he looks a little inaccurate. And then I actually watched. And it was literally those two passes I saw that he missed. Otherwise, 16 for 20, throwing it right in stride, exactly where it needs to be. 205, 2 touchdowns, obviously against third-team defense. But for an offense with new pieces as its main threats right here, it looked pretty in sync for your spring ball game there. Yeah, so the offensive line I thought looked pretty good, but they were without their starting center Zeke Correll. From what I saw, a lot of reports of the offensive line is the biggest what if of this team this year is what I've been reading up on. And from what I saw, personally, I was impressed. I mean, it looked like they were creating very, very big holes for Jordan Waters to run through. I mean, it looked like they were creating great holes for him, and he was able to get to the second level very, very consistently. They brought back a lot of their receivers as well. Big name is Noah Rogers. He had 6 catches and 120 yards in the spring game itself. He's a big, explosive receiver on the outside there. Probably going to be one of their main targets. He's going to be their main target this year. And then as for the defense, what I was watching looked very, very strong. Again, they're going against a third-team offense, so I'm not going to act like they are all this and all that there. I mean, that run defense just collapses instantly. As soon as you snap the ball, you have to get to that hole immediately. I mean, they had no available open holes, forcing the runners to get it to the outside, and by then, or they had to find a second hole, and there was just nothing there. The defense looked very, very good. Looks like everyone's high on the defensive back room. They're going to have a very, very good defense. That's kind of what everyone's been talking about the past couple years is their defense. Yeah. It is still there. And during this game, they were out with quite literally their 3 or 4 best defensive players. This defense is going to be very good. And the offense, like I said, I'm not going to say the offense is going to be the most explosive offense in the country, but this offense is going to be very poised, very patient, very relaxed. I mean, they have a veteran quarterback. They've got the pieces around it. I think this offense will do just fine this year. I'm actually very excited to watch NC State. Yeah. They're definitely one of the teams that I don't see a lot of people talking about that have a lot of great pieces around them. They got the pieces ready to go, and I think this is going to be a great year for NC State, in my opinion. Another team that a lot of people are sleeping on also in the ACC, we're talking a lot of the ACC today, is Boston College. This is going to be a new revamped team. A lot of you guys might have forgotten already. I know we're in April, but Coach, can you tell me who the head coach of Boston College is? Right?
Bill O'Brien, baby.
Bill O'Brien.
B.O.B.
is the head coach of Boston College. They've got a whole new staff in there. But yeah, kept Savon Huggins. He was currently the running back coach. Yep. That is one of Boston College's largest philosophies is the run game. And their quarterback, a dual threat guy, had 1,000 yards on the ground last year. The running back, Pat Garwell, also had 1,000 yards on the ground. And really what they've been focusing on, it looks like this year, has been the offensive line coaching and the offensive line in general. Everything on this team is really going to be pretty much brand new. But no, I'm actually really excited for this team. Now, I don't think this year is going to be the year that they take a very large leap, but I think there's a lot of excitement around this program in terms of what you could see in the future there. Yep. Obviously, Bill O'Brien, NFL experience, brought in a lot of coaches with former NFL experience as well. I think it's an exciting time to be a Boston College fan. I'm not going to say jump on the hype train yet. It's definitely a rebuilding year. This is your first year, obviously, with everyone. First off season. So, still a lot to grow on. Yeah, 2 of the guys he hired, Will Lonning, as the offensive coordinator. One of Bill O'Brien's former guys, though, Tim Lewis. He's a defensive coordinator. Like I said, last stop was in the NFL. And that was a couple years ago. People have been doubting that, but his primary focus has been the defensive back group, and that's what I've heard everyone raving about is their defensive backs currently that they have there. Yeah. And then everywhere he goes, he's been in the AAF, UFL, that kind of stuff the past couple years. He didn't have really great teams as a defensive coordinator, but his defenses were quite literally the best thing on every single one of those teams. Boston College's team, who had quite literally the most average, or below average, I should say, like as below average as it gets. Not terrible, but not good at all. Yeah. Offense and defense, both ranked 82nd or 83rd. They keep Lewis Bond, their star wide receiver from last year, and one of the biggest pieces they got this year for their passing game was Jerron Bradley from Texas Tech, who had kind of a quieter year last year compared to his freshman year, but like I said, hasn't really had that opportunity to break out just yet. And according to their spring practices, those are the 2 main guys that have been focused on as their main receivers. The guy I want to talk about the most is, this is kind of their X factor. Now, he's got good and he's got bad. So, Thomas Castellanos, who was a starter for 12 of the 13 games last year, 2,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, he's kind of got a turnover problem. And I know you're kind of like, he can throw the ball. He's their guy, I guess, but the passing, the touchdown interception ratio is definitely something to kind of get scared about. But the main thing that's going to excite you, average 5.5 yards a carry on the ground on 215 attempts. You know how many yards that equates to, Coach?
No.
1,100 yards on the ground, 13 rushing touchdowns, and he was the team's leading rusher last year out of the quarterback position. It's pretty exciting. So if he can keep that, if he can get that turnover problem fixed, that's a couple extra wins right there. I mean, like I said, if you have as many interceptions as touchdowns, you're not going to be winning games. Not going to be winning a lot of games. They keep Kyle Robichaud, starting running back from last year. A lot of their guys were underclassmen ready to step up. It wasn't these seniors that were, they were there all 4 years, getting some extra playing time. No, it was a bunch of underclassmen getting those reps. But the biggest question mark right now is going to be overall the defense. And like I said, they got a good defensive backcourt, but really the only guy that they bring back of note last year who was in their top 5 defensive players, Donovan Azaraku. I don't know how to say his last name, but he has been their star defender, it seems, this year on the defensive line. Last year had 28 tackles, 2 sacks. Very promising player. But, like I said, they lost 4 of their top 5 tacklers from last year. They lost 2 linebackers, a DB, and a star defensive tackle. Big rebuilding year for Boston College. Like I said, hold your horses on them. But this is definitely an exciting team coming in the future. I would kind of tap the brakes a little bit this year, but don't be surprised if you start hearing more and more in Boston College as the years come on.
And last but certainly not least, the 2022 National Championship runner-up, the TCU Horned Frogs.
You mean the Ghosts?
The Ghosts.
I don't think they showed up last year. I'm just playing.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
I'm sorry, TCU fans.
They got a spring game coming up 2 weeks from now on ESPN. I'm excited to watch it. Obviously, a lot of information coming out for spring ball from TCU. They got a new defensive coordinator, Andy Avalos, from Boise State. They primarily ran a 3-3-5. And if you're not familiar with the 3-3-5, it's 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs.
This is why I brought this guy in.
Yes.
Because I got no ball knowledge on this.
TCU happened to run this defense 99% of the year last year, okay? The only time they didn't do it was when it was 4th and 1 in the goal line situation. They're going to switch to the 4-2-5 this year. Okay, they're going to bring a backer down. That way it kind of leaves more to be misunderstood for the offense. Okay? Because you can always bring a backer down. You have 5 defensive linemen. You can move a defensive lineman back up. Now it's a 3-3-5 again. It's really just confused the offense.
It's versatile. Very versatile.
The reason why he brought in Andy Avalos, ironically enough, he said, you need the head coach for the defense. Andy Avalos, being a head coach at Boise State, knows exactly what it takes. Let's talk about their offense. Obviously, the most fun part of that 2022 team was that offense. They're missing 2 quarterbacks to start the year. Okay, Morris transferred to North Texas. Josh Hoover's injured. Okay, you got Ken Seals from Vanderbilt. Started 22 games, so you have a lot of experience there. Sonny Dykes loves the confidence of his 5'11", Fort Worth Player of the Year, Haas Hedgeny. I hope I said that right.
Wait, what is his name?
Major Everhart, Cam Cook, star players so far.
Bro, these names are crazy.
Yeah, I know. Like Major Everhart, Cam Cook, like what the heck?
You need to change that. He needs to change his first name to Ken. Ken Cook?
Okay, Sonny Dykes said those are 2 young players that have a lot of speed and playmaking ability. Okay, that's all they need at TCU. Really, I mean, you're in the Big 12. Offense is the only thing you know.
Exactly.
Besides maybe Utah. Utah is going to mess some, what up with their defense. Everhart is going to be a sophomore this year. He redshirted last year. He's coming off a season where he had 20 catches, 197 yards. Obviously, a lot to be improved there, but as far as we know, he's taking a step forward. Sonny Dykes likes what he sees. And for Cook, who's a sophomore as well, he was injured last year, had 58 yards on 16 carries. So, both of these players, not really nothing to scoff at, but taking a step forward as sophomores. That's all you need to see as a coach. I mean, TCU, you really just got to get going again. You got to rebound off of that loss in the championship game in 2022. There's got to be some improvement. Otherwise, we're just looking at it as a fluke. I mean, what you gave me last year, I mean, it just wasn't it. I don't know. You're blaming your coach, your defensive coordinator from last year. Who knows? TCU plays 2 weeks from now, spring game on ESPN. That is going to be it for our spring ball intel.
It is.
We have
So far.
Yeah,
so far.
obviously a lot of exciting stuff. Spring ball football back in our possession. We finally get to watch some live football. We hope you guys enjoyed. Football is back. Okay, obviously it didn't really leave, but we were a couple months without football, and it was kind of devastating.
It was.
Hopefully this will be one of many spring ball intel episodes coming out. Hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And that's Cody Minks. I'm Montana Boar. Peace out.